Hey everybody, welcome to the Purpose People podcast. Today we've got Steve Dimon from
Portsmouth,
not Southampton as I keep saying. You're an entrepreneur, you've been in the business space for quite a while, and we kind of like meet you in the transition point.
Yep.
So we'll talk about that because it's quite an interesting point. Normally people are on a journey and you are on a journey, but you don't know what the end game looks like, which is quite interesting.
Yeah, not the next bit.
So you're at school, careers, what interested you? What did you feel that you wanted to do in life?
I loved cycling, so I would have loved to be a professional cyclist.
Oh, okay.
But instead, I got into the early realms of computers.
And your entry point into the realms of computers, what was your first home computer? Just to give us a sense of your age.
The home one for me would have been a Spectrum, Sinclair Spectrum.
48K?
Yes,
Yeah.
a rubber key one. In the house before that, we had a ZX80, which is really, really
wow,
rare.
yeah, that's like the first. Isn't it? Yeah.
And that was a funny little white plastic thing with touch-sensitive keys. And then we moved on to Amstrad CPCs. But at school was BBC Micro. That's what I learned to program BASIC on back in school.
Wow. And then, so at what point did you feel, I really enjoy this, I want to make a bit more than just doing that at school?
Natural progression, I guess, after school was a BTEC in computer studies.
Okay.
I did very well at that.
BTEC journey.
Didn't fancy doing A-levels, just wanted to do computing.
Yeah.
Didn't want to do something else as well. At college, quite a bit further from home, so a decent bus journey every day, which is a bit of a pain.
Yeah.
But a different style of education, much more hands-on, which suited me. And then onto a degree at Portsmouth University, and a year in industry as well, where I worked for Digital Equipment Corporation, which was IBM's main rival back in the day.
Right, okay, yeah.
But they got bought out by Compaq.
Yeah, and that's the thing, isn't it? In that early days, that a lot of the companies were being bought out by each other, you know, as things began to progress and stuff. And then from yourself, I mean, was running your own business on the radar ever in there, or was it always you?
Not at that point, but I come from, my dad was a self-employed estate agent, so I come from a self-employed family.
Yeah.
Did, after my degree, work for a company for a bit. And then, as a lot of people do, think,
I could do this.
I could do this.
Yeah.
Not understanding any of the actual business side of things.
Yeah.
But again, the early days of IT, so it was quite easy to do. Back then, you genuinely did know a lot more than most people. A bit more tricky now. You've got, Windows 11 and things. But back then, you didn't need to know a lot more than most people.
Yeah. I mean, I think for me growing up, a lot of your computer knowledge was, we used to talk about it. Used to play, used to have games, used to talk about it. So it's in the ether. Obviously, it's got so much more regulated, so much more complex, GDPR and all those other wonderful things. But for me, it's a case of, you're at the days before things went to the cloud, before the internet.
Yeah. So that was
email, I guess, was probably just
internet was dial-up or ISDN2 if you were a company and wanted something sort of dedicated bandwidth just for your own company and not shared with anybody else. And then the early days of ADSL and that's morphed into fibre to the cabinet and now fibre to the premises. So it just shows how quickly it reinvents.
Yeah. So where was your skill set? I mean, obviously there's the actual building, the engineering. There's obviously the sort of like going in and fixing stuff. There's the software. I mean, where was your sort of? What was your?
I enjoyed the programming element in my degree.
Right.
And it was a sort of systems engineering was a lot of the modules on the degree. So that meant you understood business processes, but you understood also how to write the code. So that meant you could understand under the bonnet. That gave you a really good sort of helicopter view of how to achieve what the end client wanted to achieve.
Yeah.
So very early on, it was about sort of requirements gathering. Like, what is it you actually want to achieve? Yeah. And let's figure out what software we use, how we link it together. Do we write our own? Does it exist already? It's that trusted advisor role of tell me what you're trying to achieve and I'll find out a technical road. But I got into IT security very early on. And so that's what I've been doing, certainly for the last 10 years.
Yeah, yeah.
With a lot in social engineering. So I saw a lot of very intelligent people give away access to systems or transfer large sums of money. And you go, look, I know this is an intelligent person. How is it that they were duped into doing that?
Yeah, it's gone beyond just an email from Nigeria.
Yeah. It's psychology.
It's
so I started to learn about the power of words.
Yeah.
And how you're put into either fear or expectation, and you're pushed through that journey. So it's either the fear of something bad happening to the company you work for, or expectation of something good at the end of it. But you're basically put under what used to be heavy pressure.
Yeah.
And so people would go, why did you fall for that? But actually now they've worked out just the right amount of pressure. It's just enough to push you through. And it's when you come out the other side and the scam stops, that's when the rational brain catches up and you go, what have we just done?
Wow.
But from that you learn about the power of language, and then the power of words, and then words that are said over you, the words that you say to other people, the words that you accept about yourself. It's been quite a journey. Although the initial bit was cybersecurity.
And it's funny because, I would say it was quite rare that you'd find that somebody had been hit by it. But now it's a lot more common. And as you said, the people that have been affected, it's just within a couple of clicks, and then everything changes, and it derails businesses and sometimes kills them.
Yeah, that's right. And there is normally some kind of technical vulnerability on the inside system, but it's socially engineering a member of staff that gets you through the door. Yeah. Can you imagine it a bit like a fire door that someone's coming and pushing that fire door from the inside, and then you can come in from the outside.
Yeah.
There still has to be vulnerabilities that you can then technically exploit, but you would have never got in from the outside if someone didn't let you in.
So from your journey, you're obviously working for someone. You obviously you studied, and you're working for someone, and then there's entrepreneurship, which is a completely different set of skills. When you started your business, were you aware just how much you had to learn?
No.
Was it just like, oh my gosh, what have I done? And then try and play catch up?
You learn by getting it wrong.
There's
things, especially when you're working for other clients, because they're generally bigger than you.
Yeah.
So you get pulled along with them if they're trying to scale, if they bought another company and they're merging two companies together.
Yeah.
You have to find the solution of how you
make
those two, you choose whichever system they want to go, and you migrate the data from the other one into whatever one they've chosen. So your clients kind of pull you along, but you also get to see their culture.
Yeah.
So I've seen it done very well. I've seen it done poorly. I've seen that culture change when companies merge.
Yeah.
One culture always wins out, not necessarily the one of the acquiring party.
Yeah.
If you don't do the culture change piece as part of the acquisition process.
And even then that doesn't always go well, right? I mean, I knew a company that got acquired and everything looked great until after they were acquired, and it was almost like it was a bad marriage. You know what I mean?
But you've got to come along, effectively both companies and both sets of staff, and you've got to facilitate that change. And we're actually more powerful together, but there's going to be a bumpy road while we integrate systems and HR and lots of other things. But actually, once we're through that, you've got a much more stable job. If that can be portrayed, you can take people on the journey with you. If it isn't portrayed, then people will start to get scared, and that's where things don't go so well.
So for me,
so again, the power of words really, and communication, and taking them on the journey with you.
Well, the thing is, as technical and as complex as IT is, it comes back down to human communication. And at the end of the day, what I've seen in the last 30 odd years, I'd say, probably more than that, maybe you could go, 40 odd years. Oh my gosh. It's just how quick the industry has changed. As a Gen X, you look back just in music alone, how you consume music has changed massively. Touring is the way that they make money now, whereas touring before was a bit like, a lost leader because they'd make all the money on record sales. It's flipped the other way. Without the touring, they're not making too much money because it's the streamers making all the money. And then you look at it, and then obviously within the IT space, you look at everything being local, in your cupboard, all locked away, no one can reach it. There you go, everything's safe. To now stick it on the cloud and it can be accessed from anywhere in the world.
Yeah, a lot of these social engineered hacks are incredibly clever because they use familiarity. So things like you might get a text message with it's normally a bit.ly link, one of these compressed links because they don't want to send more than one text message.
Yeah.
So you can't see what you're going to click on. But you might also get that in an email. You might also get that in a WhatsApp message. There's absolutely no reason in those platforms to shrink it. So you could have the full URL and know that it's safe to click on. But because you regularly get them by text message, it doesn't seem unfamiliar when you get them on these other platforms.
Wow.
But there is no reason to use them. So that hides the end destination and helps that end user who's being defrauded feel comfortable on clicking that link.
So with the aspect of cybersecurity, obviously you've been in that for like 10 years or whatever. Are we less safe?
We're at a unique moment in time now where, and especially because of AI, because AI will do a lot of the grunt work. So things like the M&S hack, this hasn't been publicly printed, so I'm sort of taking a bit of a punt here, but you can, we're all encouraged to put our profiles on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
So there is so much the data that is publicly available.
Yeah.
And you can very easily then match that to a Facebook profile or an X profile or whatever. So AI can go and crawl and spider all that information and choose a number of potential targets. Then a human fraudster will probably choose the actual targets. But there's things like if you've got an older company, say 10 years plus, you'll run on a Windows domain.
Yeah.
So when you join Office 365, you Azure AD join your internal network to the cloud. So now your passwords are synced. So if you wanted to get onto the VPN, the corporate VPN, what you might do is take someone to a fake 365 login.
Yeah.
You're not actually trying to log into 365, but you know that password is going to be the same. You'll probably have 2FA and have to approve something on your phone, but you can socially engineer that with some message saying, "Oh, you're going to get a thing in 10 minutes' time."
And I think that's the thing, right?
It is familiarity.
Because we all moan about it, don't we? We all moan about the two-factor authentication. It's just an absolute pain, but obviously the way things are.
The fraudsters wait until it becomes ubiquitous.
Right.
Once it's ubiquitous, they can leverage it.
Yeah.
It's just part of the day. So even with Office 365, you're regularly asked to log in again, even though you're logged in, especially if you work with multiple clients. It becomes frustrating. And there's tricks of dedicating one, there's Chrome, Edge, Firefox, and there's a number of browsers, so you can dedicate one browser to each client and you'll be logged in and out less. But because you regularly have to log in, when you're sent a link to log in, whereas the normal reaction should be, that's a bit weird, I'm already logged in, because you regularly have to log back in for things anyway. So it's just a part of the day, isn't it? And there's some very, very, very clever use of technology now that bypasses 2FA, or with a bit of social engineering bypasses 2FA. I won't mention it on a podcast because I don't want more people to know it exists than they're already using it. But it's even for us in the profession, it's scary. So
obviously with AI and the emergence of that, and the combing of information, the collecting more information, and obviously people's digital footprints getting easier and easier to go and find and bring together. So from a marketing perspective, you want to be found. Do you know what I mean? And I guess that's a bit of a challenge, isn't it?
The AI is working out who the new hires are.
Yeah.
It's working out when you've left. It's working out the window of opportunity.
Wow.
And that used to be manually done. But now it could just run automated in the background. So these fraudsters can just choose a target, just leave the AI to run, and it will highlight the window of opportunity and the persona to use.
is a lot of the crime UK based, or is it all over the world, or is there particular areas in the world that are actually prevalent at it?
It tends to be other countries. I'm sure there is lots that happens within this country. What a lot of people now do, because it used to be things like, well, this 2FA request is coming from a country thousands of miles away. But in the same way that we're encouraged to use VPNs to, I don't know, if you want to watch Netflix in the States, or if you want extra level of security, someone running a fraud from another country simply VPNs into the UK. And then it comes from a UK address.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So, and then your LinkedIn profile gives away sort of roughly where you are in the country. So, with access to remote machines and things, you can have it pretty much come up from the right area, and then the user accepts it.
Scary stuff. So your journey is like you've been in cybersecurity for like 10 years. You obviously would go backwise in terms of you're educated, you've got a skill, you're working for somebody. When did the opportunity come then for you to start a business, and what was that decision? Was it just like, I can do it better than someone else, I'll give it a go? Was that the decision, or was it, I want to make a greater impact and I can't make it currently what I'm doing? How did you come to the decision to take that brave step?
Just falling out with love with the company that I was working for.
Right.
And I guess other people around you going, well, set up on your own.
Which is easy to say.
Yeah, I did have a bit of a break in. The technical director from that company had already been poached and gone somewhere else.
Right.
So when he got wind that I was going to set up on my own, he said, do that, but come and contract for us.
Oh, okay.
Whilst you build up your own portfolio. At some point, waiting 30 days to get paid and driving all around the country when you've got local clients is not going to be as appealing. But in the short term, we know you're a good engineer. We'd love to have you as part of the team. Right. So that gave you a safety net to build it with. Yeah, to build it with.
And then how long did you do it for?
So sole trader, 12 years.
Yeah.
Then went limited and started growing a team.
What was the big change in there? Like, from your perspective, did you find it easier or harder?
Right. So a good friend of mine said, "Are you through the wilderness yet?" What are you on about through the wilderness? He said, well, it's where you give up all the things that you enjoy and you're left with all the things that you don't like. So because you end up in business development and cash flow forecasting and all these things. I'm an engineer. I love the tech. I love solving problems, writing code here and there, that sort of thing. So you delegate all that to your team, or you're left with everything else. And if you're lucky, you come out the other side having fallen in love with business and growing business. Yeah. For me, that didn't really happen. I'm a through and through tech guy. Yeah. But in those 10 years, which was predominantly early on, was just security. So, hardware firewalls, antivirus, managed patch management, all the stuff that medium-sized SMEs have to do, was that social engineering piece. Like, we're seeing more and more people being socially engineered into either giving access to systems or transferring money. How is this working? Why is this working? And so this amazing 10-year journey of learning all about language.
It's an interesting one, because I looked at mine, like when I started the business and doing exactly that, you delegate and hand it over. And then you're doing less and less, coming up with the ideas. And I think what I fell in love with were the conversations with strangers, like meeting new people. That one conversation could change your life. And I think you're right. I think not a lot of people talk about the thing that got you to the point was being good at what you did, and then letting go of that, and then not doing it as much, and just passing that knowledge into other people. Is a hard transition that people don't really talk about. And the thought crosses your mind. You're like, I don't want to do this. This is the bit that I don't want to do.
And to extend that fear factor, because you are a business person and you think like a business person, growing and scaling a business who also understands tech. Whereas your employees are employees who know about tech. It's only half the skill set.
That's right.
So you're talking to another business owner going, and quite often you're talking about their private life and things like, what do you want this? Do you want this to give you more time so you can spend it with your family? What is it you're trying to achieve?
Often that's the motive, but you often don't get there.
So, and I'm not saying that staff I don't think staff intrinsically get it as deeply as someone else who is also a business person and is on that journey, maybe further ahead in that journey. But you can meet business owner to business owner and go, let us try and buy you some time back in your life by putting this system in. Let us allow you to delegate better because it's not all in your head on a spreadsheet anymore. It's now in a proper system that people, that your staff can interrogate, and they don't have to keep phoning you when you're out with the family to go, I've got to do this quote. What do I like? It's all there in a system. So it's more than just IT, and that probably helps coming from a, my dad was a self-employed estate agent, so that was my upbringing, was someone who works for themselves, someone who's got a small team, someone who's very much a service mentality. You're trying to sell someone's house, or you're trying to partner someone who's looking for a house with the right house. It's not just about selling a house. You want that family to be in the right house for them. So I sort of brought up with that mentality, I guess.
So I guess for you, it's like it's never been about just a job then.
No.
It's always about like
it's about serving and meeting people and making a difference. So
obviously knowing that you've exited your business, when was that?
End of March.
And you've, what is it you miss about the day to day?
Not a lot, but again, it was a strange period of time because you just had COVID. So I'm like you, I like being out networking, talking to people, sitting down with owners, and all of that stopped for 2 years plus.
Did you try online?
A bit here and there. So when I talk to other people that are just starting out in business, I tell you, momentum is everything. Once you lose momentum, it's really hard to get going again. And that's what COVID did for a lot of businesses. You had really good momentum and then just flatlined. So a bit like sort of a flywheel, takes a lot of effort to get it going again after that flatlining. And various other things in life meant it wasn't so easy to get that flywheel going again. So now what I do quite like now is that I'm a truly independent trusted advisor. So there's no skin in the game. And you work for slightly bigger companies because you're normally talking to the management team or a board, but you're in between them and their IT support company.
Of course.
So you can go, look, I used to run an MSP like yours, so I know what you should be doing. And how it should be done. And equally, upstream, your IT company's giving you really good advice that you're ignoring. I know you're paying my bill, but you're paying for good advice. I'm sorry, actually, the advice is do what they're telling you. But if it is the other way and the IT company's charging an awful lot of money and not doing what they're supposed to, that your homework's being marked, we're not afraid to replace you. We know how to manage the risk out of this. So it's quite a nice place to be that truly independent, no skin in the game, just there to advise. And almost the mindset I've always had in a lot of things is to go several kind of waterfall steps down. So although you're technically reporting to the board, your job is to look after the company. And the brand, again, you'll get this with what you do. And I say this to business owners all the time. Like, you might have created the name, you might have had some hand in creating the logo, but your brand are your staff. The people that answer the phone, the people that go out on site, the people that pack the box, whatever it is, that's your brand, because that's what the customer feels. So if I'm employed as a trusted advisor, I want to make sure the staff have everything they need to do their job efficiently. That the systems aren't clunky and causing them grief and just causing them to be really tired.
But it's simple things, isn't it? It's like simple things like, when you're not involved in the day-to-day so much, you do have a little bit of advantage. You can see things holistically. I mean, I remember, just dawned on me, and it's something because everyone's working hard, everyone's doing well, and then I just noticed like my guys were sending me emails, and like every email signature was different. I was like, what's going on here? And we realised because we'd done a bit of a rebrand, and then some people had changed roles and and we'd just been so busy. No one had the thing of, well, that when my 3D guy is sending emails with business manager, I'm like, there's something here. So we went in and we fixed all the email signatures, and they're all the same now. And
consistency.
It's consistency, and I think, and it's almost like that's, I guess, the superpower now I carry is I can just look at it holistically and go, well, look, there's however many of you doing what you're doing, but this isn't joined up, which has been great. Because before I would have picked it up, but now I haven't, and I take a step back and have a look. It's like, yeah, we are branding ourselves, right? So we've got to get it right, and so email signatures
for all businesses, that is one of the hardest things, is to treat yourself as a client of yourself.
Yeah,
to actually put time in the diary to do the things that you would do for your clients.
Exactly,
because it always gets eaten into. Even if you do it, like we could reuse that time for something else.
Well, yeah,
but you do need to do some of that and also. I run a co-working day in a place near Bedford every month, and that's a day specifically for business owners, normally small business owners or one-man bands, to work on the business, not in the business.
Yeah,
you have to step away and actually spend some time working on it, not in it.
And I think that's it. It goes back to, like you do well, you get the sales, you get the business in, but you forget about the entity that exists, the brand that exists, the story that exists. One of the reasons why we do the podcast is because the podcast is a great way of, this is the philosophy, this is who we are. We're about purpose. We got people at all different junctures of the entrepreneur journey, but everyone's trying to build something, and it's about educating. It's funny because we've had people that have exited, we've had people that have transitioned from one business to another, and we're trying to cover every aspect of business because it's so different and so complex that if you listen to all the podcasts, you have a pretty good feel what business is like. Yes, it's exciting, but it's hard work.
Yeah, and you learn that the person who's the very best at what they do is rarely the one that we see in the world perceived as successful.
Yeah,
it's the person who just kept showing up again and again, and it's a resilience thing rather than a skill thing.
Yeah, consistency and resilience are just underrated.
They have to be more than the bare minimum to obviously not to be used by clients and to not go under. But actually, it's the person who keeps showing up no matter what that eventually becomes successful.
Yeah, and I would say that's the thing that allows me to do that is the conviction piece. It's like, I know why we started it, and I never lose sight of it, because COVID was a good place to say, I'm out. We're done. Let's go and do something else. It's too much like hard work. But what that did for me is it just gave me a greater awareness of conviction of why I started in the first place, and we weren't going to give up. And even after COVID, there was a bit of a wrestle, as you said. There was the cost of living crisis, and then the war, and there's all these things that come out to dissuade us and stop us. But I got to the point where I was resilient enough to say, well, actually, we're going to keep going regardless.
It's that ethics piece we saw in COVID in the IT space. So I've never done multi-year contracts. It's always rolling 30 days.
Yeah.
And yet have clients going back to when I was a sole trader, so 25 years, some of them.
Yeah.
But we saw IT companies that are contract-based effectively spending all their time and resources on landing new clients and not on supporting their client base through this never before seen period of time. Whereas we were the opposite, right? The first 3 months, we just love our customers. We do everything to make them secure, efficient. Thankfully, we use a sort of standardized approach. So actually, it was quite easy. Like most companies already had VPN access to systems or were already cloud-based. So it's licenses and you're not having to do the actual technical sort of grunt work. For a few, their phone systems were still on-prem. So it was moving them to VoIP so that they could get to them from home. But that was our mentality. Like 3 months, we just love on our client base who have paid us a retainer year on year on year, which is kind of an insurance policy. Yeah. So that when it goes wrong, we're there for them now. Yeah. Nobody expects the whole point of a retainer is that you don't expect all of your clients to need you at exactly the same time.
Exactly.
It is kind of insurance based. So this was like, but it was actually a really good test of, are we big enough to cope with this? And we were.
Yeah.
Because things were standardized, because the things were already in place, and we had enough staff to split it. geographical coverage as well. So 3 of us near Portsmouth, 1 in Kent, 1 in Coventry, in terms of engineers. Although obviously most of it was remote, but you did have to do some on-site stuff. Once we're happy that all our clients are as secure and efficient as they can be, then we'll go out marketing, looking for other clients that are still struggling.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about, because often people don't talk about it a lot, and I think we can use this time for that, is that when do you come to the point of, I'm done, enough is enough, in terms of what I'm doing, not life, but how do you get to the point where you realize maybe this isn't the vehicle anymore? Where, was it a wake up? I woke up in the morning and I decided, oh no, I'm doing the wrong thing, or was it a gradual, continual questions and you were formulating a process and then thought, you know what, actually I do need to go and do something else? How do you get there? Just talk us through your process.
You just you fall out of love with it in the end, which is probably part of that wilderness journey of actually maybe not the actual engineering, but what I love is that independent trusted advisor role.
Yeah.
And that's tricky when you own an MSP.
Yeah.
Because the perception is you're going to try, even though I wouldn't, because that's not how I'm wired. The perception is you're going to try and sell us getting your IT company in here to replace, because that's what all the other. You learn that you can say what you like, so you can say we're ethical and we're kind, and we put the staff and the client, the customer and the staff first, but everyone else is saying the same thing.
Yeah.
So they're all potential clients are reading the same thing,
Yeah.
whether you are that or not.
Yeah.
It's only when they actually experience your service that they go, oh yeah, these guys really actually do deliver on that. So very hard to be that independent trusted advisor when you own a company that does the whole IT suite.
So I mean, like for yourself, it was a case of you got skills, talents, and abilities, and maybe they weren't given the best, or you weren't using them to the fullest of the potential.
I think for me, it was COVID. COVID just having lost momentum. That's the start of the downward. I wasn't massively enjoying it before COVID hit.
So that kind of accelerated things.
Yeah, we had quite a large client not go under, but decide that they were going to shut down. Right. They tried to sell a bit of interest, never went through, and then they just said it took about 18 months to gracefully, they're a very big company, but to gracefully shut down. So there were plenty of notice, and we were involved in some of that shutdown. So in terms of consulting, we were earning more than we would normally, because we're helping them retire systems and remove equipment from data centers and things like that. So you're tired, you've lost momentum, and now you've got to get back into that business development role. Yeah. And I don't want another big client that big. I want maybe 5 or 10 smaller ones. Yeah. Am I in this for going and winning 5 or 10 more clients? No, I think my time is done.
And do you think it's like when you come to, I think my time is done, is the possibility of what could happen afterwards more important than what you're going through now? So is that what finally puts the full stop, where you just like, I just need to see what's on the other side?
Just to go on an adventure and see what's next. And some of that is mentoring other people that are building their businesses. Yeah. So it's not even really IT based.
No. Having been in business as long as you have, you've got the knowledge.
You're chatting to people that are just starting out on their journey, and they might be a year in or so. And you're trying to say, look, it takes 3 years to get anything like truly off the ground. So like, don't give up yet. Yeah. That they are comparing themselves to what they perceive as success. And you're trying to say, you've got no idea what's going on in their life. Yeah. You've got no idea if this is their first, second, or if it's your second or third business, you can do it a lot quicker. You've lost a lot of the fear. You've got accountants, legal. Yeah. You just can almost start a new business. You've already got your trusted network.
Yeah, we set a business up, talked about it from 1 week to the next, and the business was up within 3 weeks.
And you got a bit of capital behind you to start it.
Very different.
As if you're bootstrapping it, you're trying to compare your journey with someone who's further along. Well, they're so successful. Like, no, it is always the iceberg principle.
And it's always relative, eh?
You're looking at the lovely snow-capped mountain, but you've got no idea of the jaggedy ice under the surface. It's taken years to get to that point.
So obviously you've been in, like you studied, you ended up doing what you studied for. You work in a long business. You've obviously now come out of it, and now you've got all these years of experience. We're going to go 5. I'm going to give you 5. With all that knowledge, what 5 tips can you give someone starting? Like if you're going to start again, someone starting out, they listen to the podcast, they're sat in a company, and they're like you were. You know what? I'm just going to want to do it myself. What are the 5 most important lessons you could give somebody starting out?
Build a network. So
number 1, build a network.
And I'm an introvert, so I don't naturally enjoy networking. But the more you do it, the easier it is. If you go to the same networking events regularly, then you get to know people there, and it becomes far easier when you've already got friendly faces there. I was chatting to someone growing his cleaning business a couple of weeks ago. I said, there's always a nuance in language. So it's not who you know, it's who knows of you. So if you go to a networking event expecting to win business, that's not really how it works, certainly not these days. But those people at that networking event learn what you do. Yeah. They learn that you're a nice human being and you seem perfectly capable of what you say you do. Yeah. They are the ones who will hear of the need, and they'll go, oh, you need to speak to the one of the guys I've just met recently at the... So it's not who you know, it's who knows of you. And just keep building that network. And it takes a long time. So
I say to a lot of people, networking is a long game, but it's probably the most rewarding game, and I'll give you an example. I was in London in the Hungarian embassy sharing on our business. Then I went over to Hungary and I was like, I'm in an iron. Do I go? Do I not go? Do I go? All right, okay. So I went, shared again in there, and then that opened the door out to a Hungarian client. That opened the door to a US company. And anyway, changed.
But they got to know you as a person and your business and your team.
And that was what they said. I saw you speaking.
A trustworthy person to refer on.
And that was it. And it was like just being consistent, just showing up to all the events. They have an event every month. I'm there in the photos every there. Yeah. And you don't realise who's looking at those photos. Exactly. Going, oh, look, there he is again. Yeah. Oh, look, there he is again. Okay, he's in this. He's not in there for a hand out a business card where you give me a 40 grand contract type person.
So that's that. If you're... There used to be on LinkedIn and other social networks, it's not so much anymore, but it used to be hashtag give first. 10 years ago, I was like, hey, hashtag give first. Like one day, like, hang on, no, it's just give. Just share your knowledge, share your time, help other people without any expectation of something coming back. It will always come back in strange ways, really sort of convoluted ways, but it generally always comes back. You'll not see the transactional nature of it because it will be this person referred this person, and then you got some work, like you've just said with Hungary.
So the first one's the network.
It's relationships. Yeah. So you don't go there to win business. No. Go there to make relationships, to help other people, and then people will direct other people to you. As good. They hear of the need.
Number 2.
Fight the fear. I think I'm sole trader for 12 years. If I went back now, I wouldn't have been a sole trader for anywhere near that length of time.
And was that mainly because of the building the team, or was it just what sounded scary being a limited company? Or?
I had a good number of clients and was earning good money, so there was no real reason to sort of build a team at that point. Then got married, then had children. So at that point you realise when I take a couple of weeks off, add on to that the cost of the holiday, it's a huge amount of money because you're not working during that time.
Yeah, of course.
But also you've got to get stuff done before you go. Yeah. And then you probably got to work hard when you get back. And so you start to realise, like, actually I need a team around me so that things don't stop when I'm away. Yeah. The other thing I learned, which I've read in loads of sort of business books since, so it seems quite a familiar thing, of not wanting to appear weak So you don't tell your clients that you're going on holiday,
Right.
because you're trying to project a image that's sort of bigger than yourself. And then, of course, they contact you like the day that you're heading off on holiday or something.
Yeah.
And they've got a genuine need, and it genuinely needs sorting out.
Yeah.
Had you told them in advance that you were going, they would have either got it done before you go, or they delayed it till you got back. Because actually, they've been on the same journey as you, and they remember when they were trying to do it. So it's that communication piece again.
But it's
like, you
interesting,
have to communicate with them and go,
Yeah.
by the way, I've got a holiday coming up in a month's time.
But you lose sight of that, don't you? You got a business, but
Yep.
they're on the same journey. They might be further along than you.
Yeah,
or
you
slightly
forget
behind.
at some point they've probably been through, or they're just empathetic human beings and like, actually, mate, you need a break.
Yeah.
But when you don't tell them in advance, like, I'm really sorry, but we need this fixed.
Yeah.
You should have told us you were going away. So I didn't do that in the early days of being self-employed. But again, great clients who, again, are further along in their journey.
Yeah.
They go, mate, next time, give us a month or two's notice that you're going away.
Right.
And we'll make sure we get this done early, or we postpone it till you're back.
No,
It's in our interest to have you rested.
Yeah. So fight the fear.
And not burn you out.
So fight the fear. So first one is networking. Second one is fight the fear. What would be the third?
Grow a team. Yeah.
Did you find it with you growing a team? Did you then get every leadership book that existed, or did you just learn on the job? How did it? Or
I'd learned through my clients.
Okay.
Because they were all bigger than me.
Yeah.
And so they had small teams or even big teams, and they'd grown over a number of years. So by being a sole trader for 12 years with bigger companies, you actually learn a lot about leadership. And they were all really good companies as well, really good people. So these were all kind of family value businesses.
Yeah.
And so you learn how that works by observing, really, from the sidelines. And you also see, so one of them that became very large, you have the privilege that because you're only in the office a couple of times a month, and we were predominantly kind of in the office space back then because it was pre-COVID, you're subtly seeing the culture shift.
Yeah.
And you're able to say to them, like, I'm observing as you're now rapidly bringing all these people because you've got certain jobs to fill, and they're coming from a much bigger player. Those people tend to have like 3-year, 5-year CV mentality. Does this look good on my CV?
Yeah.
Is it a step up the ladder?
Which is interesting.
And they don't have the culture that's been inbuilt over 15 years or so at that point.
No, it's an interesting one because I've noticed that. So we've been working with a lot of companies that are growing at scale, and it's me going, well, I've known the CEO since it started, and I'm willing to have that conversation.
Yeah. I'm seeing your culture slowly.
Yeah,
like, tipping a balance kind of thing.
Funny enough, I got a conversation like that tomorrow. But the point of it is, you see it. You see it externally. You're like, hang on a minute, or is this the route of travel that you actually want? Are you aware of it?
Yeah.
And sometimes they're not, and it's like give them the benefit of the doubt. But okay, but are you aware this is what you're doing? And so for me, it's like, as the opportunities get bigger and bigger and travel, you become less attached to what's going on the ground. But I'm getting feedback from my team going, this is a bit odd. What do you think about this? And I'm like going, do you know what? Actually, let's not devalue the years of friendship. Let me just pick up the phone and go, hey, you around, and let's have a proper chat.
Are you aware that this is...
Are you aware? That's good. I like that.
As you say, sometimes they are, and that's, if it's an acquisition, for example, we expect it to be a bit rocky for a bit, but we're pretty sure we can manage our way through it.
Yeah.
But other times, if it's just scaling but a bit too quick, really, then as you bring in very specific skills, they come with the previous company's culture.
Yeah, but I like the fact that the point that you made is that when you scale to a point, you go from lifers, so to speak, to people that are just jet in for 3 years and then are off again. So your company isn't, I'm buying into your vision. I am for a season, but not forever. Yep. And it's like, that's an interesting one. Yeah. Are you happy with that? Are you aware of that? Because they might not even hired them. Someone else did. So yeah, interesting. Okay, number 4.
Fail frequently.
Oh, interesting.
So yeah, that acronym, first attempt in learning.
Yeah,
that's how you learn. So fight the fear, do it. It may not go to plan.
Yeah.
That's how you learn. Like,
Is there a book in there?
Rinse and repeat.
Steve, is there a book?
Oh, probably. Yeah, 25 years. You don't realise what you learn because you learn it on the job.
Yeah.
But I work with people who are starting their businesses now, and things that seem so obvious to me, they're struggling with. So,
I'd definitely say, like, with my journey, is that how I started the second business to the third business is different each time, because you're armed with more knowledge, and you also know how tough that journey is. If you fast forward it, that you might need a few more people than just one. You need a team, particularly if you're going into certain areas that are quite influential. It's like, to do that on your own is a tough job. So I've certainly learned a lot having been in business. It's just you approach each entity differently. I mean, that's kind of where I've got to now, is that one way of doing it isn't the norm for everybody, and I've learned to ask those deeper questions. Where is this going? Who's this going? How's it going? Well, actually, you only need this. You don't need to go any further forward. But if you do, and if the plan is to exit, you know, like a lot of companies do, if the plan is to exit, they will grow it to a point, and then they might not be the CEO.
That's probably my fifth one, is because I never planned to exit. There was a sole trader mindset, growing a small team to help, you know.
So did it take you so would that take you by surprise then?
No, because again, COVID was tough for a whole number of reasons. Not to do with the business was fine, but mentally a lot happened just prior, through, and just as we started to come out of COVID. But because I had great clients and I'd grown my business kind of following their footsteps, I found I was exit ready. So looking back now, although I was vehemently like, no, you don't have to be exit ready, you can choose to just do this thing, you don't know what life's going to throw at you. So whether you want to exit or not, you should always
be exit ready.
A little bit like in like Ninja Warrior, where they're climbing up the rope, and you've got the safety thing coming up behind. So although they are genuinely using their strength to climb that rope, they're only ever going to fall from a small distance if they can't do it anymore. So your exit readiness is kind of like a little bit behind where you are. But I just intrinsically found that when I decided that I wanted to get out, everything was in a form where that wasn't that hard. Plus my team bought me out, which is easier still. But that's having gone through the journey, my mindset has shifted from, don't need to worry. If that's not you, don't worry about exit. Like, even if you don't think about exit,
it's to prepare for it.
You don't know what's going to come in life, and you should be.
No, it's really, really good advice, because I think so often, the statement is, begin with the end in mind. And I think sometimes as a business owner, you think, I'm going to do this forever. And I think COVID was an interesting one for me, because up until that point, creation as a business, that was it. That's the only thing I'm doing forever. And then I realised that actually, in order to create the impact and influence that I wanted to have, you couldn't just do it with a brand agency. That was the realisation that I came to. Then things begin to change. Like now I've got involved in software, for example. And then, from software, I've got involved in personal development, and from personal development, got involved in, production companies and stuff. So the point of it is that, I don't think you can put a full stop on the entrepreneurial journey. It's more of a comma.
I think you either are an entrepreneur or not. If you are, it's an ongoing.
But it took someone externally to ask me that question for me to even realise it. They said, are you a business owner or an entrepreneur? And I was like, I'm a business owner, aren't I? And then it was like, well, actually, when I thought about it, I was like, no, I'm actually not.
If you love creating things.
And that's it, naturally.
You're an entrepreneur. Like.
Yeah, and I think that was it. I want to create things of value and impact and influence, and I don't want to beat the brains out of one entity to make it do everything. It's like, well, no, that's. I think the light started to come on where we were getting more and more technical with our web builds, where we were being asked to do more and more techie things. And then someone asked a question, you a brand agency or are you a software company? And that was that. And then another question, and eventually it goes, no, I know what this is. And now we're building some great apps in using no-code tools, funnily enough, which is really cool. But it was that question, are you an entrepreneur or business owner, that actually realize that was an opportunity then. And then I can create that, and then I can build that and go through it. So yeah, I mean, it's funny. I like that. Build for exit, because then you'll make sure you've got all the right pillars and things in place. So obviously you don't know what next looks like quite yet. You're in the middle of like trying to formulate it out. But if people wanted to get in touch with you, Steve, how would they get in touch with you now, currently?
LinkedIn.
LinkedIn?
So Stephen Dimon on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Or you mentioned begin with the end in mind.
Yeah.
So I have the bweim.com website, which is just taking the T out effectively, BWEIM.com, which is begin with end in mind.
Look at that.
The famous Stephen R. Covey quote.
Yeah.
Which, a good friend of mine, Gethin Jones, has redone it as Tucidi, think it, say it, do it. So a thought remains a thought, or a dream remains a dream until you tell somebody else.
Yeah.
To tell someone that you trust what it is you want to do. Ideally someone that you're going to meet regularly.
Yeah.
Because subconsciously, you know, the next time you meet them, they'll say, how are you getting on with that thing you talked about? And you're going to want to give a positive answer. You know,
Yeah.
I've done absolutely nothing with it. So think it, say it, do it, and then just effectively repeat that process. But all based on that begin with the end in mind.
So at the moment, you're trying to paint the picture of what the end looks like. Yeah.
It's a sort of portfolio life now. You know, there is a lot of mentorship.
Yeah.
One of your previous podcast guests, Thomas Burgess of Sabre Warrior.
Yeah.
So he's opened a community co-working space in Fareham.
Oh, nice.
Which is predominantly to get those that are sole traders who work from their dining room table, off the dining room table, out of the house, out of their own heads, and into a peer-led community.
Yeah.
And that's working really well.
Nice.
So I like being part of that. You see it in that context that when they've got a good group of, and other people say this, like, you know, surround yourself with people that are further along the journey than you, or you aspire to be like. I think it's sort of, depending on the quote, it's you are the sum of or the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. So if you regularly meet with people that want the best for you and are also business people who have networks and contacts and have probably a little bit further in the journey than you, you'll get pulled along with them. Yeah. If you sit in your own home trying to do it in your own head, even if you're reading loads of books or, you know, listening to business audiobooks or something, it's not the same. No,
I was part of an entrepreneur hub for about, give or take, about 5 years until I run the course of you couldn't do it any longer than I did. And what was good about it is you were around loads of other people trying to grow and build businesses, which is rare. You know, everybody on the same journey trying to build something from nothing and having their good days, their bad days, whatever. Thankfully, with humans, we've managed to replace that by creating the environment which is full of those kinds of people that they come and listen to a couple of talks. But basically, they're just sharing their war stories with one another.
A lot of it's just holding people and going, that is the journey.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you just got to get through it.
Yeah, because people think, keep going. Am I doing something wrong? It's like, no, that is part of the journey.
I've had a really bad month. Yep. It happens.
Yeah.
You'll get through it. Keep. Don't give up, you know.
Yeah.
That old picture of the guy mining for a diamond, and when you're looking at sort of almost like an X-ray, like he's only got a thin layer of rock to go, and there's this big beautiful diamond.
Yeah.
But it just hasn't got the.
Well, you need I think in that instance, you need a community to push you.
That's right.
Just
keep going.
You
don't give up.
saying, well, no, this is not unusual. You're not, because often we, certainly as entrepreneurs, you take it on board your own shoulders and go, well, maybe I haven't got what it takes. It's like, no, you have got what it takes. You're just still it.
Your journey is no different to my journey or their journey or anyone else's journey.
It's just getting people talking about
keep going.
It. Yeah, definitely. So, well, thank you so much for taking the time. It's been a great journey to like hear your story and how you've exited and how you're like trying to explore what life looks like on the other side, but all those lessons that you carry.
Basically 25-year block. So the first 25 year was pretty much university and a job. And then the next 25 was 12 years sole trader, 13 years limited company. So I'm now entering the third block of 25 years.
You're in your third quarter.
Well, it really feels like, you know, that's when you've got your health. It's when you really know who you are. You've got a lot of experience. So I don't want to waste a minute of this third block of 25 years.
And it's to enjoy the time that you're in as well. You know, I remember when I left the opportunity of running a business, and I had this sort of like strange 6 to 9 month period with not too much to do, loads of like interviews and prospecting and stuff. But you never had that time. I've never had that time back. It's been like bang, fast and furious. So like yourself, enjoy the time that you've got it. You know, you don't always get it.
No.
And as you said, you certainly enjoyed the drive here today.
Yep, it's been a lovely drive.
Drive the journey back.
Yep,
and thank you so much for being on the sofa. And we'll get you back when you built what next looks like. Come and tell us how you got to that point as well. It'd be great.
Brilliant.
All right.
Thank you for having me on.
No worries. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for listening to the Purpose People podcast. How you can help us is to like and subscribe our YouTube channel. You can also subscribe to our podcasts on Apple, Spotify, Google, and Amazon. That helps us get our message out there to help people go after their dreams, double down on it, and be successful in life on their terms.